Hello and welcome into Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. And you know what Thursday brings. It is News Roundup Day. We are going to be going through some Barcelona news right here for you, featuring Jordi Alba and his international recall. What has happened there behind the scenes with Luis Enrique, Philippe Coutinho, an injury update on the Brazilian, some more thoughts and potential game time for Malcom, and of course, we cannot stop mentioning Messi. He's going to be back and it's going to be soon. All of that and some more coming up. Let's do this. But I want to start here with the cover of Sport, of course, the local paper in Barcelona covering all things to do with Barcelona. And their front cover today reads loud and proud, Barcelona are doing very, very well. And I think that's actually a pretty accurate representation of how we all feel right now. Things are going pretty well indeed. And it actually goes on to list here in bullet points the areas really where we've been really strong in recent weeks. They say that Barcelona are the only team so far out of everybody to have qualified for the knockout stages, which is really impressive in itself, but even more impressive when you consider that we were placed in what many called the group of death, with Inter, Tottenham, PSV. We've navigated our way through, we've got an early qualification, and all things point right now to finishing top of that group. It then goes on to mention that we're currently top in La Liga, showing some very strong form in our domestic league, and then the fact that we're doing all of this without the services right now of Lionel Messi, and we've coped extremely well. The squad has been really, really good. We've demonstrated a lot of qualities without Messi, and we've managed to get through those really difficult fixtures without our talisman. They also mention the fact the whole squad is contributing right now. Not only the first team, not only the key players, but even the fringe players and players coming off the bench. They're having an impact, and that is really good to see. And finally, that Ernesto Valverde is starting to really impose himself and do some good things as the Barcelona coach with the way that he's managed the team over the past few weeks. So indeed, when you lay it all out like that, as a Barcelona fan, there really is a lot to be happy about right now. A lot of positivity going around, and that is fantastic. Let's keep on this path, let's keep up that good form, and hopefully it continues on Sunday against Betis. And now on then to the big surprise of the day this morning, as Luis Enrique announced his Spain squad for the coming international break, which of course included Sergio Roberto and also Sergio Busquets. But the big surprise was his inclusion of Jordi Alba, who has indeed been recalled for their games against Croatia and Bosnia coming up now in this international break, which, given Jordi Alba's recent form, shouldn't really be a surprise that he's called up to the Spanish national team squad. But it all goes back to the end of Luis Enrique's tenure as Barcelona coach, when he dropped Jordi Alba towards the end of his time there, and Alba probably said a bit too much in the press about Luis Enrique, about his management style, about the way that he was dropped. He wasn't happy at all, and I think since then Luis Enrique hasn't exactly wanted to include him in his Spanish squads. But I think given Alba's form, he simply cannot be ignored right now, especially when you consider right now we are talking about one of the best fullbacks in the world, if not the best fullback in the world right now on current form. And all that I hope is this doesn't affect Alba. I don't want him going away on international duty, tiring himself out, playing a lot of minutes. Hopefully Luis Enrique manages him like he's managed the rest of the Barcelona players, which has been good so far, and we can still maintain the best form of Jordi Alba, because he's been brilliant so far this season without international football, and I really, really hope that he stays in that good condition, given that Juan Miranda right now is our only backup left back. And on that subject there, actually, I do have a good question which was asked to me in my community section, which I just want to touch on, which is basically asking whether instead of pursuing a centre-back, we should actually be instead, our next signing, be another left-back. And that's actually a good question. Should we go out into the market and try and get a backup for Jordi Alba, or maybe somebody who could even push him in that left-back role? But that would be really, really difficult to find. We don't want to keep going down the path of signing players like Lucas Digne, who come in for quite big money, 20 million, don't really play, and then end up leaving anyway because they can't dislodge Alba. So we can't keep going down that road and wasting transfers, really. And I think it all depends on Ernesto Valverde and whether or not he genuinely trusts Juan Miranda. I think we have to start seeing more of Miranda. I'm not saying starting games, but I'm just saying include him in some squad lists, bring him along to trips, give him that first team experience, and then just put him on for some final minutes in games, give him a run out of the camp now. That's what he needs, a bit of confidence, a bit of belief that he can be a first team player, and just a bit of trust in him, just to see whether he is ready to step up as the backup left back in the first team squad. That's the only way we're ever going to find out whether we can count on him as the backup for Jordi Alba, because like I say, if Alba gets an injury, we are in in real trouble right now. And if we don't count on him, if Valverde really doesn't trust Miranda and we don't see more of him, perhaps we will see another one of those stopgap left-backs just to fill the void until the next one. But now for some rather unfortunate news with regards to Philippe Coutinho, who unfortunately will not get the opportunity to follow up immediately on his impressive showing against Inter after he picked up an injury, and tests that were carried out this morning have confirmed that Coutinho has a small rupture in his left leg, in the muscle. It's not a massive injury, but it is something that's going to keep him out, which the club say for approximately 2 to 3 weeks of action, which given the international break that's approaching isn't exactly the end of the world. It means Coutinho will miss Sunday's game against Real Betis. Of course he's not going to play in that one, and then it'll be a real race to get him fit for our first match back after the international break, which is a big one. Away at Atletico Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitano, we will need our full squad for that game, Coutinho included, so hopefully he can get back for that game. And along with Coutinho, there was also another absentee from training this morning. Ousmane Dembele missed the session due to some stomach pain, but hopefully that's just something that keeps him out for action for only a day, nothing serious. Hopefully we will see him return tomorrow and he will be available for Real Betis on the weekend. Hopefully it'll be fine. But now I do want to discuss Malcom in a bit more detail, and just while we're on the subject of injuries, and in particular that Philippe Coutinho injury in mind, looking ahead to this weekend's game against Real Betis, does it open the door now once again for Malcom to receive some more minutes, potentially even as a starter in the game at the Camp Nou? Obviously, Lionel Messi, as we're going to come on to in just a minute, could be back in contention, but he's still unlikely to start this game, meaning without Messi and without Philippe Coutinho in the starting lineup, could we start to dream of potentially Suarez up front with Malcom and Ousmane Dembele either side of him? A lot of pace, a lot of driving, direct running, that could be incredible. Let's wait and see what happens in the coming days. But Malcom, certainly right now, going to Valverde's office, banging on the door and saying, look, I'm ready for this. But now it is time to talk about Lionel Messi. We do move on to the man himself, who does look increasingly likely to return in some capacity on Sunday against Real Betis. And the reason for that is simple. He is absolutely determined to do so. He wants to get out there before the international break. He wants to make his return and be absolutely ready for that Atletico Madrid game after the international break. He wants to start that game against Atletico, bring himself back in here against Betis and get ready. And I still don't think right now we're going to take any risk with him. We're not going to rush it. There's no need to do that. But I just think Messi right now has been working so hard. He's been trying to get back as soon as he possibly could, and he wants to return to the Camp Nou field on Sunday, and I think we're going to see it at some stage. He was in training once again this morning. No medical green light yet, but that is expected to come in the coming days, hopefully. And of course, yesterday I did mention that he came in even on the squad's day off. It was their day off yesterday. Messi came in, he trained, he recovered, he was working on his recovery really intensely, and that was incredible. And I actually just want to talk a bit more about that, really, the work ethic of Lionel Messi, because a lot of people talk about his quality, his talent. Ever since a young boy, he's had this unbelievable talent with the ball. He can move, he can do anything on the football field, down to that raw ability. But what people never talk about with Lionel Messi is that hard work. When you're talking about Ronaldo, all you hear about is how he's worked and he's got his maximum out of his body. He's an athlete, he's worked tirelessly to become the professional that he is. But when people talk about Messi, they just think that he was made as this genius. He is a genius, but he is also somebody who does work incredibly hard in training, off the field, with nutrition, with taking care of his body. That is why this injury that he suffered is such a rarity. This guy hardly ever gets injured because he keeps his body in sensational condition, he works hard, he looks after himself, and right throughout his career, he has always been somebody who has trained so intensely, so meticulously, and I think that's not given enough credit to Messi there. He is not given enough credit in terms of how hard he has worked right throughout his career, coming over from Argentina as such a young boy, taking that risk away from his family, working hard to pursue his dream, moving the other side of the world, and really making it in Barcelona for so many years, so much consistency. And I just think that's one thing, really. Like I say, Messi doesn't get enough praise for that. You hear it about other players, how they work hard, about how they're such model athletes and model professionals, but Messi is that too. He might be a genius, he might have such raw talents and raw ability, but he's had to put a lot of hard work with that that, and we shouldn't forget that. And so guys, that brings us to an end for today's video in terms of today's news roundup. So hopefully you enjoyed today's news, and of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on everything that we have discussed in today's video. The videos will keep coming, and later on tonight I will have the first episode of my Football Manager career mode with Barcelona. I'll be taking the reins as Barcelona coach for one day and one day only. So leave your thoughts down below guys. I will see you soon with more videos. Thank you as always for joining me. But until then, as always, Vesca El Barça.